Did you know that 20% of all restaurants, cafes and bars do not make any profit at all? In fact, they do quite the opposite. They make loss. 20% of all venues are not money-making machines, what they're supposed to be, but instead they're cash-eating monsters. To keep them running, their owners need to constantly invest in their businesses, because as soon as they stop investing, their restaurants start dying because they don't have enough cash. These restaurants are dying. Can you imagine that 20% of the whole industry are dying businesses? And I really hope that's not the case with your restaurant. I really want your business not to die. Actually, what I want is to see your business in the other 20% of the industry, the thriving restaurants. And if your restaurant isn't thriving yet, in the next 20 minutes I will talk about how you can get there. I'm sure you will find all this information interesting and useful. However, if you feel that you're ready to get down to business right now, you can hit the button below this video at any time. It's called Book a Call Now, and you book a 1-hour free call with me personally, and we will discuss your current situation, your goals, and how I can help you achieve them. Okay? Ready? Let's get started. Now, let's take a closer look at the statistics, the normal distribution of profit in the industry. We can divide this chart into 3 parts. The left part is below zero, as you can see. These are restaurants that make no profit but loss. These are dying restaurants, and it's 20% of the industry. The middle part is a group of average restaurants, the majority, right under the top of the bell curve. And your restaurant is more likely to be here, in this group. First of all, because it's a big group. This is 60% of the market. But also because there are a few problems here. And these problems are probably the main reason why you're watching this video right now. So how much profit does an average restaurant make? Well, it varies from 0 to 6% of their revenue. So we can say that the average profit of an average restaurant is around 3% of its revenue. So what does it mean? Is it good? Or not really? It means that the business covers all the expenses. It pays all the bills in time, it pays all salaries and wages, and probably runs marketing campaigns from time to time. The business generates enough cash to keep it running, and even a little bit more. And from outside, it probably looks okay. But what about the investment that's been made to start this business? In your business, you're not only an entrepreneur, a CEO, a chef, or a manager, but also you are a shareholder. You have invested in this business and you want to return your investment as soon as possible. But if your investment was, for instance, around your annual revenue, to pay it back will take more than 30 years. How can you get it back quicker? The only way is to sell the business. And that's why the average lifetime of an average restaurant is from 3 to 5 years. These restaurants can survive, but the question is, for how long? Surviving is not a good strategy, and these are surviving restaurants. Unfortunately, return on investment is not the only problem. With such level of profitability, you definitely have a few additional problems. Problem number 2, you feel disappointed and sometimes even worthless because it's impossible to grow and develop. When you opened your restaurant, you definitely planned for growth, but what you can take out of your business now is just not enough even for a small new project. It's not enough even to improve your current situation. You can't hire A players, the best professional with knowledge, experience and skills. You can't invest in new equipment and design. Problem number 3, you can't stop working in your business as a self-employer, because that's how you can save quite a lot. And to save more, you start doing more and more jobs until you find yourself running inside a huge hamster wheel without any chance to get out, because that's the only way to survive. Just keep running. Very soon you find yourself exhausted and burnt out. Problem number 4, stress. When your profit is just around 3%, you can't help but ask yourself all the time, what if? What if something happens and my 3% of profit dropped below zero, because it's so close to zero all the time? How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to pay my staff? How am I going to support myself and my family? What am I going to say to my family and my friends if something happens and my business fails? Stress and anxiety, this is very difficult to avoid when your profit is just a little bit above zero. Sounds familiar? I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. So we have dying restaurants on the left, surviving ones in the middle, and what about the remaining 20% of the industry on the right-hand side? The remaining 20% of restaurant owners have managed to make profit in the range from 7 to 15% of their revenue. Some of them make it up to 20%, and some of them even more. With such level of profitability, the owners of these restaurants feel totally different. They feel calm and confident because their capital grows. When the average profit is 10-15%, they know they will return their investment in just a few years. And also that the price of the whole business increases every year. The capital grows. They feel excited because they are able to invest in their business and improve it. Hire A players, buy new kitchen equipment, improve interior and exterior design, run different events. And they're even more excited because they can invest in new projects. They can open new venues. But what's probably most important is they feel a sense of self-worth and sense of meaning. They're able to give back to the community, donations, sponsorship, cultural events, supporting other local businesses, and they create more and more jobs. These businesses are going to grow, they're going to plan long term, they're going to expand, and as a result, they're going to make their owners really happy people who live their lives to the fullest. These 20% of the restaurants are thriving. Now, let's try to understand the difference between dying and surviving restaurants on one hand and thriving ones on the other, and what you need to do to move from the surviving mode to the thriving life. To answer this question, let's look inside. Let's look at the core of the business, the product. At first, it seems like the product is food and beverage, but in fact we go out and visit restaurants not only because we are hungry, not only to consume fuel for our bodies, but also to consume something else. And this something is experience. Every time when we make a decision what restaurant to choose for our breakfast, lunch, or just for a quick coffee break, we always consider not only our need to feed our hunger, but also another need, a much more important need in the modern world, the need to have a good time. Every time when we go out, we feel not only physiological, but also emotional hunger. They always go together like yin and yang, and we always need to satisfy both of them, always. Fuel for the body and experience for the soul are two products you sell in your restaurant. But what is the difference between these two products? The difference is fundamental. The difference is how we differentiate these two products for our customers. On one hand, food as a fuel for our bodies is basically just proteins, carbs, fat, some minerals and water. These are commodity products. And what it means is these products are almost the same for everyone, and everyone needs them. The market is huge, so is competition, and almost the only way to make customers interested to buy from you is to offer the lowest price. Price here is the only aspect of product differentiation. Commodity is always price driven. That's why all competitors set their prices as low as possible to attract customers. That's why when you sell a commodity, to be successful, you need to have a very large volume of sales, and you need to be very efficient in your operations because your margin is minimal. On the other hand, experience is an extremely personalized product. It means it's made according to very specific personal taste and personal habits. It's made not for everyone, but for the niche, a specific group of people who share common taste, interests and values. The more unique your product is, the less competition you have and the higher you can set your prices. That's why when you sell an absolutely unique product like art, prices can rise to astronomical levels because there is no competition. The difficulty here is that your market share is relatively small, and you have to have a very good knowledge of your specific niche. Otherwise, you have a risk of attracting no customers at all. Now, the tricky thing is that people make a decision to visit a restaurant only if they feel both physiological hunger and emotional hunger. So, in your restaurant, you have to simultaneously sell both food and experience, commodity and art. You have to be spiritual and material at the same time. At the same time, you have to be very efficient in your business operations, and you have to be very creative and have to know your market extremely well. That's the only way you can deal with the dual nature of the business. I call it the yin-yang mechanism of restaurant success. And this is what makes the restaurant business pretty complicated. If only one component is missing or not going really well, the whole business starts struggling. Now, I know all that probably sounds a bit technical, all these commodities and differentiations, but let's look at the reflection of this theory in the real world, in the real market. After more than a decade of being in this industry, I have worked and talked with a considerable amount of restaurant owners in different countries, different market conditions. Their restaurants were different in size, type, and level of success. And I have found that there are two types of questions which successful and struggling restaurant owners respond completely differently. I also call them the yin-yang questions. And by the way, if you want to discover something interesting about your business, try to answer these questions right now and then compare your answers with my observations. Type 1, the yin questions, the spiritual questions, the questions about why, the questions about purpose and values. Why do you do what you do? Why does your business exist? Why did you start this business? What is the purpose of your business? What impact are you going to make? What are your values? What is important to you? Type 2, the yang questions, the material questions, the questions about numbers, the questions about any part of the business performance that can be measured. What were your sales last month? What were your expenses last week? How many customers did you have yesterday? How many new customers do you have every month? What is your budget for marketing and advertising? What is your food-beverage ratio? And here's my observation. All successful restaurant owners almost always have quick and clear answers to both types of questions. The answers can be different, but they always have them. Clear purpose and exact numbers are always accessible at all times. They have both yin and yang always in place, clearly defined, well-balanced, and ready to use as a strategic and tactical guidelines. In contrast, all struggling restaurant owners almost always find those questions difficult to answer, especially the questions about numbers. It happens in almost 100% of cases. Now, can you see the connection between theory and practice? Can you see the same yin and yang? Can you see the connection between the dual nature of the business with two types of products, the yin and yang products, commodity and art, and how differently successful and struggling owners answer those two questions? The purpose questions are the questions about the art component of the business. That's the yin questions about the yin product. And the questions about numbers are the questions about the commodity component. The yang questions about the yang product. Can you see it? If owners know the answers to those two questions, it means they have effectively managed both components of the business. They have balanced yin and yang. And that's why they are successful. If owners don't have clear and quick answers, it means either yin or yang is missing, sometimes both. If it's missing yin, the purpose is vague. And when you don't really know what it is for, you don't really know who it is for. You don't really know your customers, your specific market niche. As a result, the restaurant becomes unattractive to anyone. Not knowing your purpose and your market needs leads to low sales. And any business without cash flow is like a body without blood flow. If it's missing yang, the business processes, especially expenses, are simply not under control. And when you are not in control of your business operations, you blindly follow the demand of the commodity part of your business to decrease your prices, and inevitably you go below the break-even point, and that's how your business slowly starts to die. Now, when we know the problem in all details, the solution seems to be pretty obvious. Number 1, build your yin, find out your purpose. Number 2, add yang to it, know your numbers. It is that simple. What is not really simple is how exactly you can find your purpose and how exactly you can start looking after your numbers. Hi, my name is Jeff Kashkin, and I help restaurant owners increase their profits. And I love watching them move from a surviving mode to a thriving life. So what does this process of transformation look like? Well, apparently it consists of two elements, yin and yang. It starts with the yin component. You'll be given a set of tools to achieve two goals. First, clarifying the mission and the values of your business, the foundation and the purpose, what you are standing on and where you're aiming to go, matching your personal values and your business purpose with the market. From the moment when you know in all details what you do, why you do it, and who you do it for, is the moment when you start turning your guests into raving fans. Your marketing campaign becomes very efficient because it's addressed directly to the people who crave for your creativity. You're not begging everyone to visit your restaurant, but inviting those who already have been waiting for this invitation. Can you feel the difference? Also, from this moment, you stop having staff problems because your team members become raving fans as well. Now they work not only for a paycheck, but because they belong here. As a result, your sales increase, your prices go up, and you have a dream team, so you can start working on your business, not in it. And so this is the yin. From the first day, we also start working on the yang component. We get your numbers organized in two ways. First, measuring your performance and recording the numbers. There's a bit of science and psychology behind this process. It's called Pearson's Law. As Pearson's Law states, when performance is measured, performance improves. When performance is measured and reported back, the improvement accelerates. Since you start reporting to yourself the metrics of your performance, you know your business in all details. You can recognize all the problems in the very beginning and fix them. You have everything under control like never before. The second way to get your numbers organized is budgeting. All your expenses have to be planned and strictly limited. And they must be limited not just by the numbers in your head or in your business plan, but by a certain amount of cash in a special bank account. And if there is not enough cash for something, it means only one thing: you can't afford it. And you are forced to figure out the alternatives because you simply have no choice. Same with your taxes. You have a special tax account and you have a certain percentage that you take from every dollar of your income and transfer it to this account. So when the day to pay your taxes comes, it's not a disaster anymore. But the real beauty of budgeting is that you can apply it not only for your expenses but also for your profit. Your profit is no longer the leftovers after all your expenses are done. When expenses are not strictly limited, there are never any leftovers. The approach is exactly the opposite. You take your profit first as an exact percentage of your income, and the leftovers are what you can use for running your business. From the first days of implementing this budgeting system, you can actually see your profit taken out of your business and accumulated on a special account. But that's not all. From now on, you slowly but constantly increase the percentage of your profit. And you can do it because at the same time, slowly but constantly, your sales increase, your prices go up, and your expenses go down. Polishing your Yang component, the number component of your business, is a very effective and easy way to cut your expenses and increase your profit in a very short period of time. However, you don't have to expect a silver bullet or a magic pill. There is no secret information in these systems. Basically, if you have access to the internet, to Google and to Amazon, you can find pretty much everything by yourself. You can find tens of best books on how to run a successful restaurant. You can find hundreds of blogs about any aspect of the business. You can also find thousands of marketing specialists ready to promote your business on all possible platforms. But let me tell you just several reasons to work with me. Number one, you will save time. I've already read all the books, all the best blogs, talked with the world top specialists in all areas you possibly need, systematized this knowledge and implemented it in many real businesses that I owned, managed, and also in the businesses of my clients. It took years of my life, and you will get the essence of this experience transformed into beautifully designed systems that are easy to implement into your business just in a few weeks. You will save your money. That's number two. I have already made all the possible mistakes you can make if you go alone. I studied them, found the solutions, and built a safe transformation plan. Using this plan, you'll be able to avoid the majority of these mistakes, and each of these mistakes can cost you thousands of dollars. And finally, you will have a personalized support and guidance on your business transformation. I'm not going to give you general instructions or advices and leave you alone with all the challenges. I personally will be deeply involved in all aspects of your business, and together with you, we will analyze the current situation and make a plan of recovery. And of course, you will be supported all the way to the top. All you need to do is click the button below this video and book a free strategy session with me. During this session, we will discuss your current situation, the quality of your yin and yang, and then we will make a decision of how I can help you and what you can start doing right now, even if you choose not to work with me. I will try to give you as much value as possible. So what are you waiting for? Click the button below, book a free call, and I can't wait to start working with you and make your restaurant thrive.